All right, folks, we got game 75 in the book. This one has a little introduction paragraph here. It says, the following 4 games were played in July 1858, soon after Morphy's arrival in London. Although Morphy had an ally or allies to assist him on each occasion, the conduct of his side of the game may fairly be attributed to the American champion, especially in the games in which he was opposed to Staunton, whom he had crossed the Atlantic to play. As is well known, they never met over the board again, but Morphy had the satisfaction of being on the winning side both times they did so. With regard to the other 2 games in which Lowenthal led the opposition, they were played in one evening at the London Chess Club and are of considerably less interest. So, all right, here we go. Game 75, it says here London, July 1858. All right, so Staunton and Owen play E4, and Morphy and Barnes answer with E5. Okay, the knight comes out for white, and look at this. Morphy and Barnes, D6, protecting that E5 strong point with the Philidor's defense. All right, here we go. White strikes in the center with D4, good move. But look at this, F5, Philidor's own counter gambit, both difficult and risky. Morphy won 2 fine victories with it over Barnes and Bird. Game 186 and 192. All right, so let's get into this one, though. Here we go. Queen pawn takes E5, right? Now, there's a note already. Knight to C3, as played by Bird, may be better. Steinitz prefers king pawn takes pawn. Then it says see also game 77, where with the transposition we get bishop to C5 at some point. All right, so anyway, we'll see that one. It's only 2 games away. So we'll get to that one. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? But for now, here it is. Look at this. Queen pawn takes pawn. And now Morphy and Barnes answer F takes E. And that hits the knight on F3. Okay. So you can see what Shredder wants to do. Well, that's what White decides. Okay, with Staunton and Owen playing knight to G5, and here, look at this. So now the knight's ready to recapture that black pawn on E4. So Morphy and Barnes protect it with D5. All right, so now we got an interesting position. White playing E6 with a threat of jumping the knight in, hitting the queen and the rook on H8. You know, so White would win the exchange. And let me tell you, that's looming, you know, in many lines like this, it's always you got to watch. And right now, Black can't just capture because the knight protects that pawn. It's an interesting game that's going to arise here. Now, we have knight to H6 by Morphy and Barnes. And get this. Here we have this note, and this crops up the first interesting positions. Here we go. Steinitz calls this the best move. This one, knight to H6. Against Barnes, Morphy played bishop to C5. Okay? And then, that's all. Okay, that's that note. Now it says here, we'll look at this game. This is the one I guess they're referring to. Game 77, where with the transposition we get bishop to C5, okay? So they're going to get to this position in a different move order, but this is the game Morphy-Barnes, or I should say Barnes-Morphy, because Morphy has black, right? We're going to look at that, I think, two games from now, all right? So we'll get to that one. But here's another note. We got knight F6, and if the knight dives in like Shredder suggesting, then, you know, you're hitting the queen, and get this, where can the queen go, folks? Can't go here or here, right? She's running out of room. Only square, and then if the knight takes the rook, well, then black can capture here now. He has time to grab that pawn. And it says here in the notes, offer some attacking prospects in return for the exchange. So as you can see, that all that white really has left that moved is that knight on h8, right? That just captured that rook in the corner. And black has the queen developed, the king knight, the queen bishop, has 2 pawns in the center. All right, so for the exchange, he gets a jump. If it's really worth it, that's the question. Here we go. Look at this. Try to like the strike in the center. Now it's saying to continue development. All right, and look at this. You take, right? Uh-oh. You're forked, right? Well, just not so fast. You pin that pawn to the white queen. So now you can't take either or you lose your queen. Rook takes queen check. Right? So, okay. So now he defends this. But we have 3 on it, folks. We got the knight, the bishop, and the rook. So we can take... We take with the knight, and here we go. We attack the queen. Now, basically what we developed here was just a jump in development for the exchange, right? We have, let's see, 6 pawns to white's 5, and we got a load of development, okay? Not to mention, I mean, right now, it's not even the exchange. We're down a full rook because we haven't captured that knight yet. Now, she's trapped in the corner, so for now, she's as good as dead, but not until she goes in the box can we say you know, we're down the exchange. We're down a full rook right now. All right, looks like we're going to drop the e-pawn. Although if the knight takes now, we could pin it to the king, to the white king. So here we go. Let's see what she does. All right. Boom. Castles. Now we can defend. You want to really push your pawn. All right. I think we've developed the bishop to g7 and capture that knight. So you get rid of that. Now that bishop is pinned. We're looking to play queen over to the d file, and the only way to defend it would be, let's say, like, for instance, you do something like this. We go to the d file, okay? And the only way to really protect that bishop is to bring the knight back here, right? But even then, you know, Shredder doesn't even want to do that. You're going backwards, right? You're losing development, blocking your queen rook in. He says to just give up the piece, I guess. And now black is clearly winning after that. You got a bishop and knight for the rook. And you have the bishop pair. You have development. Although white's catching up. So I don't know, folks. I don't know. That's an interesting one, right? I wouldn't be scared to play into this because you have the initiative, right? Matter of fact, look at this. This is making sense now. Here you go. Now, we can't move that rook or we lose our queen, right? So, okay, you play here. Maybe if you take, we get a pass pawn out of it. Comes down here, pinning our bishop. All right, we'll trade queens with you if you want. Okay, and then we retreat. All right, so it's a whole other battle. That's an interesting one. It could go many different ways from there. This is just one line, I'm sure. But I did set up the, let's see, what did I do for white at this point? I gave white that silly h3 move. So what, you would want to move this to c1 and get out of the pin right away. So we finished developing here. And all right, and it's a game now, folks. This is a whole different battle, right? Interesting, though. Interesting. All right. So let's go back. That was just one sample line after this. The book only gives it up to there, where it says bishop takes e6, offers some attacking prospects in return for the exchange. So you saw one one little sample. Who knows how many different ways that one could turn out. Okay, so we'll bring it back, and we'll show Morphy. He plays knight to h6, and now Staunton and Owen play queen knight to c3, but we have another note on this move. All right, it says Jay Lowenthal commends pawn to f3, to which he gives the inferior answer bishop to e7 and claims too much for white. Okay, now here's in parentheses they say instead of pawn to e7, black should play this first, and then after bishop takes, then play your king bishop to e7. Now that made me, I was puzzled. I was like, what's the difference of this? Very subtle. Let me point it out to you. Notice the pawn on f3 blocks the white queen, right? Okay, that's a key factor. So watch this. Let's say we just develop here. Now obviously we're threatening to take the knight, right? So let's say white push instead of taking. All right, let's just go with taking first. Look at this. Look, we captured the knight. Oh, we won the knight, right? We won a minor piece? No, because you got the queen check. Okay, and now obviously you can't move up, because then you get into something like this, right? Where you lose your queen now too. Look at this. All right, so you're down big time there. So you can't do that. So obviously, after the queen check, you gotta push g6, and then after takes. Now, notice that pawn on f3 recaptured the black e5 pawn. So now this pawn sits here, and it guards against knight f5, right? So it would have to only square it could go to, because notice it's hanging. Queen takes is threatened. The only spot it can go is here, and that, I mean, now you're going backwards, and you can't even castle now. You're blocking your own king and rook, so that's no good, right? And if you trade, well, you're already down, and now you're swapping queens, making it even harder, because the more power that comes off the board, the more significant that material advantage becomes, right? Because at this point, black's down a minor piece. Or is he? Wait, no, he's not. He's just down, let's see, 2 bishops and a knight and 2 knights and a bishop. Oh, so what am I saying? All right, I'm seeing ghosts, folks. So really, okay, so what do you got? The pawns, was it 7 pawns to 6, and it looks like this pawn is about to drop. But where can this knight go? Let's see. He picks the knight first. He doesn't even bother saving the knight. I mean, the only square, right, is this one. The only square is here, and then okay, you get 4. All right, your castle, and you're gonna lose. So you're gonna lose that knight either way, right? So at least okay, we're gonna take here. Or, all right, push d4. Now we take here. Well, by taking, now we get a passed pawn, but it's isolated, so that could be weak. And now we are down a piece. We're down that knight. So now we are down. I guess the because I looked at the evaluation, it was +4, and we still had we had 2 knights and a bishop against his 2 bishops and a knight. But lo and behold, there was no way to save this knight right here. After this, right? There's no way to save this guy. The only safe square is there, and then we get the bishop 4, like we saw. So this is no good, right? This is definitely no good. Now watch the difference, though. Watch this. So remember, the key feature is F3. If you just develop straight away, he takes, and this pawn controls F5 and also clears the way for the queen check on H5, right? So now look at this. So now we push here first, all right? So the F3 pawn stays there. He recaptures. And now we attack the knight. And if he pushes here to clear the way for the queen, it is true we still can't take here, right? Because then the check comes in. We block. And he recaptures with the queen. And now the engine's saying to trade queens. But notice we got this. Like, okay, let's trade queens. He goes there. Now we got knight to F5, and we have a tempo on the bishop on E3, right? Because when we gave up that E pawn, that bishop here, he captured on E3. So now he's on the E3 square, and the knight just so happens to come here with a tempo, threatening to take that bishop. So here we go. We improved our knight's position, and now he's got to do something about this, and he's got to use another tempo. That gives us time to capture this pawn finally, and and then from there we go, right? What do we have? Slight microscopic advantage for white. What is it? A pawn up? Nope, he's not even a pawn up. He's got the bishop here. That's about it. All right, he wants the fork with knight takes C7. We guard against that. There we go. We boot the knight. All right, he goes there. And it's a game. All right, and I gotta point out something. Although white has the bishop here, black has a better pawn structure because he has on the queen side 4 pawns to 3. He could create a passed pawn and possibly win an endgame. Meanwhile, yes, white has a pawn majority on the other side of the board, 3 pawns to 2. But notice the white pawns are doubled on the G file, so it's hard. It's the 2 black pawns can stop the 3 white ones, so it's harder to create a passed pawn over there. So that's why I think you see the evaluation is almost equal. It's basically equal. I mean, it's 0.08. I mean, come on. So what we've been looking at, that line is much better. This line right here, when you push, okay, and bishop takes, and then you play bishop to E7, it's much better than what we saw. Because look at this even. Look, you take, right, here comes the queen check, then there. Remember, you get it, okay, now it likes to throw the knight here first without trading queens. But I think that move, trading queens, slows it down a little, and it gives black a chance to consolidate, get back in the game. But let's just see what happens. All right, so then he trades queens. All right, you move your king now. You can't castle, but the queens are off, so it's not as crucial to castle. And here we go. Let's see. He boots this guy. We take with check. He moves. And here we go. We got another game. And it's a little different. That's the beauty of chess, right? A little different here. Who knows where it can go, but black's in it. Less than a pawn advantage. So, anything could happen. But now compare, once again, instead of E3, playing this straight away. As recommended, I'm going to repeat myself, but it's important. Jay Lowenthal commends pawn to F3, to which he gives the inferior answer, the straightaway bishop E7, see? And then he claims too much for white, because black could have got better with this, okay? So we're just clearing the air here. Let's again just see what happens. See, he takes this way, and black should just castle at this point. But look, we do this, you block. Now look at this. Look at this situation. You can't go here, you can't go there. And if we try this, right, because this blocks your king, you can't castle, blocks your king rook in, you're going backwards. Now if you try to trade first, and then you can get the G4 square, then you still lose the knight like this. Look. Castle. Okay, there you go. And now you are down. Look at this. Now you are down that piece. All right, so whatever, you know, it's definitely better to play E3 first. And this, even this, castling, I think I looked at this, you drop this one. You don't want to trade queens. And I mean, black's cramped. Black's cramped. You can't even look at this. You can't even recapture. You can't even recapture on E6. That pawn is a bone in the throat. Although it is only giving a slight edge to. That can't be good. Look at black's castle. You don't want to play like this. But anyway, it says that black's still in this game. We're doing it quick, though, you know. We're doing it quick. So, you would take there. You got this. Why not rook to the open file? How about this? Well, anyway, it's another game. It's another game. Now, that line stems from not taking the knight on G5 and castling instead. Just like this, see? Right away. We had looked at this just to show the difference. The difference. Not being able to, you know, move this knight now. So, let's also look at the line, because I'm sure you noticed it. You play this first, and then you play this, and there was this move. Shredder likes this one. So now the knight can still come to F5. I guess he wants to protect, let's see. Bringing the knight up. Still likes F5 now, so. We're threatening the E3 knight, so he comes up. All right, we trade. Queen up. We're going to boot that knight with H6, maybe. Let's see. I thought we hit that knight away. All right, we destroy the knight. He takes. Can we take with check? There you go. Take what you go. Oh, now he's threatening to bring the rook to E1 and pin our black queen to the king. So we castle. And I don't know, it looks pretty good for black here. He gets out of it. So even H4. I think you know, I think white has the space advantage and all, but you know, it's still a game. We wouldn't want to take here because then white gets to penetrate. He penetrates into our position, you know. And that's what the queen move is about. I guess we take anyway. Alright, we take anyway. He comes down, bring the knight up. He's going to activate the king up so he could swing his queen rook into the game. We got a trade. Gives the check. He's going to play games with us like this, see? We don't want him to stay on that 7th because once he doubles those rooks, he'll control the E file. And that's the first step to coming down and penetrating. When you control a file, you want to penetrate. For instance, let's back it up. The reason why he starts to harass this rook to get out of here, he doesn't want this to happen. Look, king up, right? Let's just say we do this. Now the other rook comes over, and he's looking to, you know, control that file, and eventually we can't even do anything like this. Look at this move. Why didn't he do that before? Then he wins our rook. Let's go back. We trade. Knight up. King up. We put the rook here. Why can't he do it now? Ah, because we go here. Oh, so when we did it before, look at this. I did a silly move. Look at the difference in this. You go here, now he can double. So now, if I go to harass that rook, when he throws it here, I can't go to f8 because he's doubled the rooks, and now, boom, checkmate. See the difference? Holy cow. Goes to show you what one silly pawn move would do to your position at a6. I just wanted to see what's going on here. So obviously you have to harass that rook out of here. If he takes, now your king could boot him out of there. So he gets off the 7th. You don't want him to stay on your 7th and threaten to take pawns and harass your pieces. So it's a game. It's a totally different game. Black's still in it. He's still in it. A little behind in development. He's going to, I guess, bring the rook out when he can. We want to leave. We don't want him to play b4. We don't want him to hit this guy out of there. So we play a5. Okay? He's expanding over here. We're expanding over there. What could I say, folks? It's a game, right? All right, so we'll go back. Go all the way back. Black hangs in on the move h4. So without a doubt, from what we looked at, pushing this pawn e3 is much better than just playing this bishop straight away. Okay, subtle differences, right? But here we go. f3 is not played. Knight to c3, and this, it says, after that whole thing with the f3 move, the last of the note says the text move is better. The knight c3 move is better for white. So all right, here we go. d5 is threatened, so we push c6, and here we got a shot, folks. Look at this one. King knight takes the e pawn. Well, we take back. Now the queen check comes in. And after g6, because, folks, again, if we play here, we lose our queen. We lose our game, right? There it is. It's all over. So we play g6. Now he hits our rook in the corner, right? Threatening to take him. And Morphy and Barnes play the rook over to g8. Okay, so now we have an interesting position. All right, so now at this key moment, there's a ton of analysis. Staunton and Owen decided to take the knight, but the notes have white misses bishop to g5. Let's go through it. Lots of beautiful chess right here. Lots of tactics. Here we go. The first idea, well, the black queen's being attacked by that bishop on g5. So one line is to swing the queen to b6. White castles that rook on the open d file. Very, very dangerous. So now, if you haven't noticed, you got the white rook could come down to d8, and it would be mate if it wasn't for the queen guarding that square. So now what black does is he tries his knight tries to get it into the game by playing knight to g4, gaining some time on the white queen, right? Attacking the white queen. Well, now the queen goes back to f4, all right, and that's all they give in that line, because if you haven't noticed, queen f4 is threatening queen to f7 mate, okay? So, what can you really do there? Let's see, what should black do? Just take that pawn to eliminate queen f7, mate. Alright. Plus he's protecting the knight over here now. Alright, white recaptures, threatening knight f6 check. Really don't know. It looks like black is pretty busted here. What about, let's see. What if he moves, he develops a piece, he guards that. Oh, and then he comes in over here. Okay, he trades. We can't castle because the bishop is blocking, it's controlling that d8 square. So here we want to get rid of that. Plus there's a threat, a mate threat on e7. Simple mate right there. So this was the one move Shredder found. Now he's liking this one. And we just hang this guy. He's hanging. And well, now we're really in trouble. Now the light squares come into play. Let's see. Well, +8 for white. We have to really agonize through that one. Right after this, knight takes. You bring the rook up here. You get this. You get 2. You get 2 for the. We don't even take this one. Now wait. Why can't we do this? Because we lose the bishop on f8. Look at this. Forget it. We're in trouble now. We're down +10 for white. Right? So you can't even take that bishop. So that's no good. So black's busted there. So this move, queen to b6, is just losing. Okay, if queen to d6, offering an exchange of queens, well, white can take. The knight takes pawn, attacking that bishop. Now, what the book gives here, it gives bishop back, and then you get this one, and you can win the rook down there, and it's a double check, so black doesn't even have time to take knight takes knight. He has to just move his king, and then look at this, you win that one, and now they trade on h6, and black's is up. He's up a whole rook after the dust settles. So he's up +7 for that, right? But like I said, instead of bishop back, like the book gives, Shredder found this move, and even on this, you lose the exchange. Okay. Let's see, what's he going to do? He wants to hit the knight first. Alright, we double up on e6. I think we're going to win that pawn, right? Let's see, I don't know, maybe not. We're still fighting to try to get that e6 pawn. We're going to back it up. Look at this. This is trouble, folks. That e6 pawn, we still can't take it. We still cannot take that pawn. Let's see if there was something better here. I thought there was something better for black last time I did this. It like g4. Alright, he likes this one. That pawn is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. We can't get our knight. If we develop our knight here, normally you take to bust up these pawns. That looks real ugly. But now black has the bishop pair. Okay, and wait a minute. You know, I'm just noticing we're down the exchange, but we got 2 knights. We got 2 knights for that rook. So now, if I develop this guy, normally you'd say, well, you got to take to bust up those pawns. That's ugly, you know. But now Black retains. He has the 2 bishops. So he's basically got a light square bishop and knight for a rook. That e6 pawn is a problem. It's a pain, you know. But okay, you're threatening the bishop. Oh, now he goes there, and I don't know though. I don't know. This doesn't look. That rook's gonna come down. It's definitely an interesting game. It's playable for Black. You see, it's less than a pawn. If he could get those 2 pawns, that f5 pawn and the e6 pawn, then but those queenside pawns are busted up and ugly. I tell you, there's so much to this game, folks. A lot of questions there. I'd say it's a battle, you know, but right from the get-go, it's that. The point is, Black may still have a game here. It's not lost after this. Now, I don't know what I did when I was doing my going over this line, but Black eventually captured that pawn when I reviewed it last time. Let's see, what's this? He wants to bring the rook over and go after my knight. I mean, my bishop. See, now g4 is threatened. If I go here, now he attacks the defending piece. So if I move him, I lose him. But there is a way where you can go like this. And then I guess you can bring him back, maybe. Oh, no, you can't. Because then you lose the bishop. This is bad. This is winning for white. So this move is pretty good. He goes here right away. He trades. And the question really is, once again, that e6 pawn, can Black capture that guy? Look at this. If you take it, right, he takes with check. All right, you could take the checking piece, but now he goes in. Look at that. He goes in and gets his queen. See the tactics? Well, anyway, I say definitely it's easier. It's an easier line for Black because it's not losing. You are kind of down, but it's not so concrete yet. You still could possibly hang in there. But anyway, okay. So the queen here is not the worst, but it's not really helping Black. This comes out. I just want to look at it one more time. All right, so king over. Now he's castling. You challenge. So we're basically blockading that pawn. This guy's key because he defends that e6 pawn. We threaten to trap the bishop, so he makes a little hole for him. We go right here. He backs up that pawn. We take here, he takes king up. And this bishop is key to keeping the rook on d1 coming down and checking right there on the d7 square. But all right, here we go. Look at this. We go for it. And he goes to this. And now he's winning the pawn. So we got the e6 pawn, but we gave up our queenside pawns now. So it's still a hard fight. Black is back's against the wall. He's hanging on by a thread, but at least it's not straight up losing like the other line. All right, now we're gonna check out. Now we're gonna check out another line. That's Queen D6. Now we got and if bishop to D6. You attack my queen, I'll attack yours. Now the rook comes, okay? The knight jumps to defend. Let's see, Shredder's saying to take here. I guess because he's losing by so much. Knight defends the bishop on D6, which is pinned. And knight takes pawn. Now they're piling up on that bishop. So here we go. We take this one. He takes with check. They give king up, and then the knight coming back to attack our queen. And what could we do? We're in trouble now. We got to stay on this diagonal, because if we just say we go here, right? You got check, and you can mate this way. You could mate this way, right? So the black queen's got to watch that f6 square. If he stays there, well, look at this. He comes in this angle. Now, if he goes down, right, it's like before. If he goes here, it's still mate, because the rook covers the d file. So he's got a block, and then, well, now you're forcing this, right? If we take, he just takes. And then he gets that mate on f7 again. So black's lost. He's lost at this point. So after knight to e4, that's it. He's hitting the queen. The queen can really go nowhere. So black ends up losing the queen and, losing the game. Chase this guy. And it's over, right? So that doesn't work. So the last move they give in this position, let's get to it again. Right here, after bishop g5, is, yes, Shredder finds it. Bishop to g7, attacking the white queen from this angle. All right, so now they give pawn push. And they give two moves for the black queen. One is here, okay. And then they do castle. Okay. Bishop takes queen. Well, the rook comes down. Look at this. Check. Only one square. Look at this. Now he gets into the game. Check. Block. Check. Now we take the rook. And we're threatening to promote the pawn, right? So there's really no answer to this. Let's see. What does this do? Because if he takes this, then he gets to capture the pawn. So he just moves. Okay. So that pawn's gonna promote next. Oh, now he tries to guard it with the rook. All right, the white rook takes that guy. All right, now you're preventing the pawn from queening with knight to c7. But you're giving up all these other pieces. Look at this. Holy smoke. So, white still... All right, bishop goes back. Wow, and look at this. You take, and then you win this rook. And now it's, you're down the exchange. And look at the pawns, it's the same. But you're down the exchange, rook versus knight. So that's unbelievable line right there. Because let me show you what they give, obviously. You take here, Okay? And now with the knight taken, okay, like if you take this, queen comes down with check. And basically, well, look at this, no fear, look. He goes this way. Now you might be saying, well, what the heck? You could check here or here, right? But, alright, he comes up. I guess the rook is poisoned. I thought he was going to block. I thought he was going to just block, but then this is, I guess, a stronger move. Well, now the queen is threatened. The black queen on A1 is threatened. So if you take here, I think black's gonna get mated. You can't go here, right? Because then it's mate. Okay. So he's got to take it. We sack the rook, right? Because then boom, boom, dark squares. All right. All right, there you go. So he just goes over. We check from this diagonal, and there's nothing left. There we go, and it's mate. All right, so going all the way back, right? See, what's going to happen is if the knight takes here, he goes in with check. This is what they give in the line. The old masters here, they give this line, right? Rook takes rook, knight takes, and then you queen with check. King goes up, and the bishop comes back, harassing the black queen. Black queen comes back. They don't give anything further, that's it. But after that, you do look at this again. If you take here, check on the light squares, and you're threatening mate on G4. You win this guy. Queen H4 is going to be mate. No way to stop it. There you go. So on this, you can't take that pawn. Comes up. But if he blocks, folks, you see what's happening? Look. What's he going to do? Look, I see this one. But okay, you go here. He's only got one square. And then look at this. He goes up and he loses the queen. And he's going to be mated again, right? Look at this. There you go. Beautiful king hunt, right? So black is busted. So all that, you know. Again, let's just look at it. You got bishop G7. Push the pawn. Queen at B6. The castle. You take the white queen, and here it goes. The checks ensue. The knight captures back the rook. The queen comes back on the board, and it's all over. You harass the black queen, and then you go after the black king. Look at this. See what happens when your king is flushed out of any castle position. That's the problem in all these lines for black. His king is stuck in the center still. This is what Morphy does to you. It's not what happens to Morphy. What Morphy does to his opponents. So anyway, the other move that the book gives on this pawn up move right here is queen to D7. But after that, we get the queen coming back, threatening bishop takes knight, winning a piece, right? And after the knight moves, well, now we harass the white queen, the black queen on d7. I don't know. What do you do? Where could he go? If he goes here, look at this, folks. Look at this. You take, right? I mean, you come down with check. You take here, he takes, and look at this. Look at this move. I saw it coming. Bishop pinning the black queen. Why? If he takes, now he doesn't guard e8, and the black queen and the white queen enters the game again. Look at this. Unbelievable, right? White's winning there. Look at that move. So what do? You have to. You still. Let's see. You still. Oh, look at. Wait. You still can't take because it's a knight fork. Because the black knight is pinned, she can't capture the other knight. So look at this with check. Goes here. Now it's going to be. We could do one of these. Let's end with one of these. These are pretty. Now you get a double check, right? If you can't even go there because it's a pawn, you go swinging in, mate. There you go. So all right. So all those lines lose. And the last thing about it was blah 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 blah. When we have go back. Queen up, right? That was the main line that they're giving right there. The queen d7. Let me make sure, where are we? Right, queen to d7. Okay. The queen goes here, and then the knight comes to safety. The rook over, and the whole thing says threatening bishop to c4. And that's this whole thing like this, you know. I guess what if he did it? If he did it now, would it even matter? I think it's not really. He does the check first, and then he takes there with this. That covers the bishop on d7. Covers the promotion square. The pawn can't go to e8. So then we win down here. We win that knight. And we're up, clearly up. The notes state after rook here, it just says threatening bishop to c4 winning. So after queen here, let's just see. If you go here and he takes, is it transposed pretty much? Yeah, he can't take here. And then we're going to queen the pawn. He doesn't take. What if he does this? What if he does? He gets that check, right? This doesn't do anything. After king over, she's going to go over again. And now it's prolonging it. That's all this is. White's clearly up. King's getting flushed right out. Now we got double pass pawns. So that's it. What could he do, right? Look, the bishop's even pinned over here. Look at this. Alright, so there we go. We're just fooling around now. Mate and 5. Alright, so all those lines are just pretty much all destroy black. The one is questionable. It's still a hard fight for black. So the one line was not bishop d6, queen d6 may trade, right? And then the knight takes pawn, and again they give this, all right? And then that's where you get the double check, okay? And then he goes there. But Shredder comes up, because that's clearly winning for white. But Shredder comes up with the knight, and then you get this, where black has two knights for the rook. And here we go. We got the bishop c4 move, the g4 move, or the rook. And I think the rook it tends to like the best. And that gave, I think it kept white with that slight edge. At this point, this time, you see, every time I play it, it's a little different. So look at this. He comes in. Wow, look at this move. See? He comes in. Because if you take, again, that tactic, you take with check, and then you queen. Right? So, you can't even take this. He goes over. Now you check. He goes back. It was worth a try, I guess. And then he says, look, you threaten to win the bishop with a4, so you make a hole for him. Drive him back. You're gonna actually push c4, and then you could capture the e6 pawn finally. You attack the rook. You go here. Interesting. There you go. You block out that bishop, so now he's out of the game for now, for the time being. But look at those white rooks protecting e6. See how important that is? Whew. So, I don't know. The bishop develops. And then you got a game. Again, white has a half a point edge. Black has the two knights for a rook. Is it a win? I don't know. That's black's best shot to hang in there after bishop g5. Okay? But, like I said, Staunton and Owen, they capture the knight. Morphy recaptures. And let's see where we are now. Make sure I got this right. Oh no, wait, let's see. Yeah, Morphy recaptures. We got the queen first hitting the queen. The queen comes up to g5, offering a queen trade and slow it down. Then he could capture that up one on e6, but white's having none of it. Queen to c7, attacking the bishop. Well, he takes the pawn finally. And now the queen takes the b pawn, and white's threatening queen takes rook. All right, now it says here, if queen takes pawn, black might offer to give up his queen for 3 pieces in all, by queen to e7. For instance, here comes the rook, right? You can't. What can you do? If you go there, well, now you lose. Let's see. Do you lose? How? I think he gets a perpetual check like this. See that? You just get perpetual check because white is now down material. And let's see. Yeah, he's down a bishop. So he'd have to just keep checking, and it's a draw. But we go back. Okay, they're talking about queen takes, and then on the knight check, we can't go here because then we lose the queen anyway. So we might as well get the knight. See this? We get the knight. Rook up. Now you can't take the bishop because, bam, you get hit. You see that? So, after queen takes queen, well, that's basically, let's see, 3 pieces in all. By queen to e7, rook down, check. Queen takes rook, knight to d6, queen takes knight. So that's where they just have up to here. Queen takes, and then you're getting 3 pieces for that queen. Okay, you have a rook, a dark square bishop, and a knight for the queen. And again, you play this so the white queen can't capture the bishop on e6. And then, all right, white's getting ready to castle. Goes back. Look at this. You're going to harass the white queen? Look at this. All right. Some castles. I mean, we gotta get these pieces out. Why not? Why go after pawns? But anyway, okay. And at this point, black's winning. Black's winning. You know, those 3 pieces for the queen, and white has 1 extra pawn. So it's a fight too. But I think black has a slight edge. Shredder gives it to black a little over a pawn. So that's an interesting little side note. Okay, but white goes in, taking the pawn on b7. Okay, now get a load of this one. e3 exclamation point. You gotta love Morphy for that one. Now, if we got, well, obviously, if this, white's getting mated, because he captures, you got mate like this, right? Bishop and queen battery, folks. He goes up, you mate in the same square like that. 2 good patterns to know. So, you can't take the rook. So now, Staunton and Owen decide to play f3. Now, according to the old masters here, pawn takes pawn is better. They say queen takes pawn, check, bishop to block, only, right? They block with the bishop instead of the knight. And then the queen comes down here to threaten it, you know, let's trade queens. Because, again, remember, if let's say they trade, right? Well, now, again, we got black down a pawn, but he's got an extra bishop, right? So the evaluation puts black up pretty much over 3. So white wouldn't want to trade. So now if he goes in like this, right, taking the rook in the corner. Let's see, how does he lose? I think it's a losing move. Well, okay, try the same up, and then he's gonna bring. Notice that the white queen is trapped because the c6 pawn he can't get out, right? The knight and the queen guard that. The black queen guards this. He can't come here, right? So he's trapped. So knight to d7, okay, and the black queen guards any exit, and the black rook on g8 would attack the white queen. So white's got to do something about it. Now the problem is, if you move your knight now, c6 is hanging. See that? So black has to go back to protect it. And then I guess you'd go after, because there's nothing better. And the 2, it would be a draw. Now, if he goes like this, I don't know. Oh, I see what's going to come here. Watch the f7 square. Look at this. Okay. Now if you take like this, he takes here, and you win the rook, right? If you take like this, he gets the fork. So that rook on g8 never gets to capture the white queen. So look at this. Look at all this. We win this guy, or maybe we just. Is this going to be a? Is this like a perpetual in a sense? It comes up. Okay, if we go here, the knight could block. And if he just takes, he's down a whole rook, so black can't do that. So I guess it's going to be a perpetual check attempt here. I think that's what it is. That's what we have. But notice you got to do it the right way. If you try to check from here, it allows the knight to block, see? And now it's all over for black. So he's got to check from here. No one could block on this diagonal. And if he goes over here, same thing. Again, you go here, and he blocks like this. So and eventually he gets out of it. So, wow, so that's some line. Where are we going from here? We're going, that's taking the rook, okay? If you take the rook, basically after this, king up, and now, you know, the knight really should just do a dance with the black queen over here, and it's a draw. And if not, this move's pretty good. Yeah, if you take this way, you could take the rook. So you take with the king. And then again, you get the knight fork. Unbelievable, huh? And there we go. We got into the same thing. So, although they're putting, they did this last time. Wow. And black wins. Wow. Can't defend that in any way. Let's see here. King over. He takes. So what happens on this? Yep. Didn't even think about it. The knight. Okay. That's why the knight. I was trying to figure, why did the knight go there? Alright, so he tries to get around. Wow, look at this. If he goes here, right, check. You can get back to guard his bishop. But it can't go this way because then it's mate. Right, so he goes this way. And I mean, it's what a crazy game. It looks like it's even. It's just even. Although the black queen's out of it. There's got to be crazy checks going on the whole time. I mean, you could just check them to death. All right, so taking the rook doesn't win, I guess, for either side, but it could get pretty dangerous at times. What a wild line, right? So, taking the rook, the old masters say that rook taking the pawn on h7 was better than playing. Okay, again, this all stems from this. Look, after queen takes b7, you push, and they're saying if white does this, it's not as good as playing it like this. Queen comes back, and that not taking there, but over here, they're saying it's better for white. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You get the bishop. The black bishop is hanging on h6. White's knight is now hanging. And look at this, it's a 4. Black's king is exposed in the center, right? All right, here we go. We got one of these. Is that what we're going to do? All right, there you go, right? So it looks like everything's a draw. But anyway, okay. What does white do? White does this instead. Okay, he passes. Now we got queen to e7. Here, come on, let's trade queens. He's got an extra bishop. So Staunton and Owen say no thank you, and they take that rook. All right, now the king up. The king rook on g8 now protects the knight on b8. So you can't do this. You can't win that guy. And here we go. Here comes the knight. Now, just like Shredder, Staunton himself says that overconfident in the superiority of their position, white now played without due consideration and claims a win by rook to d4. But after bishop, let's see, after rook to c8, the idea of being able to move the knight and c6 doesn't fall, so that queen is still trapped. See, the white queen can't get out. And if the knight moves, then this hangs. So you're bringing this here first. So now the next time the knight moves, that's it. Right here, knight coming out, and the black queen's going to have to trade for at least a rook. And now black's clearly winning. Okay, but after this, they go bishop c4, where according to Staunton, black has no resource. The continuation, bishop takes bishop, Rook takes bishop. Queen to queen 2, threatening to come down and mate in 2, right? Is in black's favor, though it does not, as Max Lang claims, win the queen. See Mr. Blake's ingenious analysis in British Chess Magazine, February 1916, page 45. Good luck finding that one, folks. But anyway, look at Shredder now, okay, because there is some amazing moves at this point. It looks as if the knight's going to come to a6. Well, actually, this leads to mate, right? That would lead to mate. So, look at this. So, the knight comes up to the outpost on e4. No pawn, black pawn could boot that knight away. And that knight covers d2, so there's no mate threats. So, now you'd say, well, the black queen is trapped, right? Something like this. Look, folks, did you see this? Knight fork, and you get it back. You get it back. Now white's winning. Okay, so you can't do it yet. All right, so bring the bishop back here, right? Bring the bishop back to stop that knight fork, right? And now he brings this up, threatening to bring the rook over. Okay, so now we do this. And I thought the king moved up to bring this guy over here. He likes this one though. What's wrong with this? Let me see. Oh, we take with check. That's why. We take with check, and now we have time to take. So we just want a rook. And black is still slightly up at this point, or black is slightly up. All right, so you got to use this rook. So if the queen takes, it's no in between like this. There's no check. So he's got to move. We give a check over here. We take. Oh no. We check here. He goes there. You see what's coming here, folks, is that knight fork on e6. For instance, I don't know, just to show you, look. We got this knight fork. See that? So you play your knight over here to guard that square. All right, now he's starting to come down and win your queen that way. Right? So if you go here, he goes there, and goodbye. And it's now, look at this, he wins the pawn. And now it's white who's winning. So, what was the last move here? He goes up, you go up there. I thought the rook over was a good move. Now he's saying to take. He's saying this. Now black's got a 1.5. It's about 1.5. But this move, okay, here we go. This move came back. Now we have to do it. All right, and black comes out of it a little better. Meanwhile, Staunton believed that black has no resource. But the old masters say the continuation is bishop. We'll go back. The continuation is bishop takes bishop. And then queen to queen 2 is in black's favor. So anyway, all right. We'll go back to the game, though. Let's see what happened in the game. So pawn push F3, right? And then we had the queen coming down. He takes the rook, king up, knight here. Moves the knight first. We were just going over this move, okay? But knight first. All right, now the bishop comes up to guard this square. See that? Remember, that's a key square to fork the black king and queen. He goes here. Okay. Remember, this is a move again that they're saying it's very strong. For instance, if we try again this, and we still this the queen could just take. Once we move our knight, the queen could take. So not really making sense here. It goes here, starting to come down and win that one. Bishop takes. Like this. Got to kill that. Protect that C pawn, I guess. So he's getting out. Wait, what does it want to do here? Well, white's winning now. So, I guess that rook move is really the move to do. But, look at this. Look at the difference now. Bishop E2. Just one move that's weak. That isn't the strongest move. Now you got king over here. So subtle! Exclamation point. King G7. If queen to C7 at once, then pawn here attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to H6. Rook check. Queen takes rook. Because what happens on this? Look at this. He gets out, and you get this one. But black is still winning here at this point. Look at this. Black's still winning big time. So maybe this is just check. Now it protects the caesar there. So white's still up here. And you see this, because you know the rook's gonna that blunts this guy. The after the knight develops, he plays this. You go here, and there you got white up. White's up at this point. So the line now that was what Shredder was fine. After this, bishop coming back, they give the rook check first. Queen takes rook. Queen takes rook, check. How could it? This still make sense. What am I missing? Hold on. If queen to C7 at once, pawn to G3, Oh, knight to rook. Okay, knight to, not bit. I was reading bishop to rook 3, but it's, see, it's knight to rook 3. All right, which is knight a6. Okay, so now the queen is definitely hanging, right? So the rook comes down with a check. If he takes like this, then the bishop can check. And when he moves over, well, we take there. And if this guy comes up a block, well, then we remove him and we take the check. See that? And white's winning now. So you got to take that rook with a queen. Now we take here. There's no other option. And then you get the knight fork. Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable stuff. All right. So we got this knight hanging over here too, remember? So how are we going to do this? And this knight is trapped. He can't go anywhere because of that black knight on a6. Right? But once he takes from here, all right, and he's going to put this guy there to protect that e3 pawn. It's the only thing that's really keeping black in the game, if he is. It says here that white has a over a 3, almost 4-point advantage, so this is going to be tough for black. All right, so it looks like white's got the win there. So what a line, though, huh? Look at this move. Again, take knight there. Wow. All right. So after this, the king going over. Let's see, that makes such a difference here. Let's see, he castles. Well, none of the other stuff. Let's see if the other stuff works. What did we were just looking at this, right? Queen. Hold on, we didn't get the knight there. Now, the bishop came up after that knight move. And then they did this. And even this, rook here. It's very close. Wow, it's very close. Problem with white is that rook on h1 never got in the game. Doesn't look like it's going to either. And the black knight is trapped, but it is protected. White's threatening knight takes, I guess. Well, can't. Knight takes bishop and then like this. If knight was to take here, right, then it's mate. So, but I'm just thinking in terms of undermining the knight's the knight's defense, which is this bishop here. But once you move that knight, boom, you got mate. So that pawn on e3 is crucial. So, well, anyway, the evaluation is drawn, so I guess no one could make any headway. But, all right. We go back. As if the rook went over. That's what Shredder found. Shredder found that move. The notes are saying if the queen was to go here, then this would hit the bishop. We want to get that queen, so we don't care about the bishop, and we got that move here. It's amazing. Look at this. Well, and we saw it before. I'm just doing it again. We take, king's going to go after that pawn, and boom. All right. And we give it to white. He's up the exchange. So that's some move there. So queen over doesn't win yet. And this rook move again, we'll look at it again, because it seemed like it was pretty even there. He takes here, we win the queen finally, but he gets the rook and bishop, we get a check in, he blocks it, because if we don't, it's mate, right? Oh no, the knight covers, okay. Well, this way, that would be dangerous, right? And he wants to block, okay. Knight up. Alright. Here's better, huh? Alright, protect that F4 pawn. He takes it anyway. He castles, finally castles. But I don't know, this doesn't look good for white. Looks like put this up. Oh boy. You check, the knight goes back. Okay. So you go over here, you win this guy. Looks like black's chipping away. He's chipping away. He goes to check. We got that past E pawn. Chipping away. Look at this, chipping away. Now you got the past queenside pawn too, so you got to give it to black. So that's the way to go. Let's see, where that was the queen to C7 move, right? Oh no, rook to C8. Shredder found that one. After this, rook to C8 is the move. And you do win that queen. So the rook and the bishop on F4. But then the white king side is attacked. And not knight here, but knight here is better. All right. And kings instead of castling, I guess, right? And you want to keep that, you want to hold on to that E pawn. Yeah. Kick that king back. Black to B2, I guess. It's over. This white looks like he's fighting harder in this line. So, you know, it's a tough one to call, but you got to admit this is some game, some positions here. Well, anyway, what ends up happening after bishop to E2 is Morphy just moves the king over. Okay, and here's what happens. White castles. Again, Shredder was saying rook to D2. That's an important move here. Now the king on G7. Well, I think the knight. Wait, the knight can't do that, can it? Oh, we get this one. Okay. And the queen's still trapped, but he goes over here to try to. This is crazy. All right. Wow. Now, after all that, we got a bishop and rook endgame. White's up. White's up a pawn. Oh, no, wait. Let me see. Yeah, he's up a pawn. And then now that pawn on E3, I think, is going to be weak. So now he attacks. Now black attacks these two pawns on the 7th. This one gets away, but he gets that one, see? Now he's going to go after this C pawn. He's going to end up winning. So now it's tough. Now it's real tough between the two of them. Looks like a draw to me. All right, so amazing stuff. So that rook to D4 is an important move for white, but instead starting an Owen castle, and now it gives that one tempo enough time. Black plays queen to C7. All right, now the knight looking to fork, right? All right, bishop takes pawn check, and in between move here. Goes over. Bishop to bishop 1. Now this knight moves also giving the B7 square for the white queen. So to save the bishop and stop the knight fork on E6, and also to prevent the white queen from stepping here. See, the knight on C5 lends support so the queen could come out, but now with the bishop going back, black still controls B7. Now the rook comes up, and the bishop comes back right here. To see, that's another queen. I guess it's free to move. Rook right here with a question mark. Rook to E4 question mark. They said that rook. Well, rook, the book says rook to king knight 4, which would be there, would have made a harder fight of it. Well, if he goes here, I guess this allows the white queen to come to B7 now, but look, get a load of this. I looked at this position. goes there because you don't want the black queen getting to the H file. Goes there. And at this point, black's up, you know. Black's got a knight not a knight for a pawn, so he's clearly winning this one. Matter of fact, if black could just trade the rooks off, you know, white's got really nothing left. You have a bishop. As long as, you know, you trade the knight for that bishop, now black would have a bishop left and white would have nothing. So you just got to keep trading down, you know. Now here's the threat, really. This is just to get the white queen out, see? But on this move, the real threat is the queen sliding over to the H file. Look at the dark square weakness that the white king has over there. If the black queen could get over there, for instance, do this, and you got, look, you're threatening the knight, and you're ready to fly to H4. But it looks like even this is a better move, right? What happens on this? Yeah, he pushes this. I mean, really, there's not what could be done here. It's all over. Right? He tries to go over. Oh, look at this. He'd have to give up the rook. Queen down to H2 is mate, so he'd have to give this up. Now, the rook is in the way. There we go. We got mate that way. All right. So that wins. And maybe that's just prolonging it because it looked like this was even a better move. What is this? What does he do there? We attack him. We're ready to go this way. See, he just keeps preventing it. You take away F1, and that's it. Mate and 2. 1, 2. All right, let's go back. Let's see how the game finished. I know this one's getting long, but let's see. We had knight up, right? If I got this right, there's my tan glasses. Let me go back. All right, so we have near the end here. The king goes over. White castle. Queen over to C7. Knight to C5. Bishop takes pawn check. King over. Then the light square bishop comes back to guard B7. And now the rook came up. Oh yeah, bishop back to G3. And the rook moving there, so it would have gave more of a fight, but he's still losing. And here's the move. Look at this. White plays rook to E4. All right, rook to E4. Well, the king goes down. Okay. So rook's trying to get in the game now, and the queen slides over here. You see where we're trying to go for the dark square weakness, right? And now what could you do? Right? What could he do? He goes up, doesn't matter, right? Look at that. See how the pawn helps out? Actually, you don't even need the pawn right there with the bishop, but you see how the dark squares are weak. So after queen right here, queen to g7, white just does like Shredder, just has to give up. Now the bishop gets, in the way of the queen, but you win the rook, right? He wins the knight. See that? Because the bishop was guarding that dark square knight, the black knight, I should say, not dark. Dark square bishop is guarding the knight on b8. But by taking the rook, now he has time to do this. Okay, but anyway, Morphy setting up. Let's see, queen takes knight. Bishop here attacking the white queen. And the white queen, the old master says, just like Shredder, should go here. And now queen to f4 was white's last chance. It may not easy then to prove. It is not easy then to prove a win for black. A possible line is bishop takes bishop, rook to queen, rook down to d7, bishop to king 2 to block him. Okay. Bishop blocks. Now the knight comes in, attacking the queen. And remember, the queen, the white queen on f4, there's a reason for that. Here we go. They say the bishop could come up to attack the queen. Because if this, we'll take bishop, right? Queen takes rook, but now that opens the diagonal. And he's vulnerable. See this? So you check down here. And you got this. And you just got a perpetual check now. And that's it. It's a draw. See that? So on this, if you go here, bishop, just instead of you see, oh, this is a draw, I don't want to do this, right? Right? You just looked at it. This takes, he takes, and then he gets the draw, right? Going back and forth like that. So you don't like that. You say, wait, all right, let's just do this. Bishop there, okay? And they give rook takes queen, bishop takes queen. Then you get the rook taken with check in between move. King takes, and then this guy takes here, okay? And then the bishop moves here. Now we're threatening to bring the pawn queen in 2 moves, so the king's got to get over. So if he didn't move over, that pawn would have been in. The knight would have had to sacrifice himself, and then it's an easy win for black, just having the bishop a minor piece up, right? But okay, the king slides over, so now at least you win this guy, right? The king comes, let's see, no, the knight. The knight comes up, and king here, and it just says they stop at that. King to f7, and black's king may decide the game aided by his outside pawn on the queen rook file. On the king, on the wait. I'm sorry. Black's king may decide the game aided by his outside pawn on the king rook file over here on the h file. Okay. But get this, this is all a moot point because you might have noticed, right? On this, bishop up. The knight takes the bishop. Look, knight takes, right? Queen takes allows an even worse scenario than before, right? Because that's look. If he blocks with the queen, folks, you get a smothered mate. See that the queen is pinned, the black queen. So there's the check. You got to block with this guy. Well, now you come down. Here he goes. You bring that knight in there, and there's no other move than black has to give his queen for the knight. All right? And here we go. Look. And you see what happens if you push this. Oh, it's a check. Oh, okay. So he wins the e3 pawn. So, folks, now it's black. It's black who's losing. White's up. The queen versus the rook and bishop. And you got to see those queen side pawns are isolated. All right, you'll have to use the bishop maybe to protect him, but even then, you can't because look, he's gonna push c4. Right? Let's just do this. Look, he's gonna push c4. Now, what's he gonna do? Go here, trying to protect c6. You go there, and there you go. You lose this guy. The queen's gonna, with these three queenside pawns, it's gonna throw up those pawns like battering rams and chase the bishop away and win. He's gonna win both. Even if he trades one of the white queenside pawns for one of those black ones, he's gonna have two pawns on the queen side. Forget about it. White's gonna win that one. So the old masters missed that line. Knight takes. All right, so they're correct in stating though that the queen move right here, queen to f4 was the white saving grace. That was the move. But guess what Staunton and Owen did? They played it all the way back. So now there's no influence on that any checks from e5 or f6, you know. You'll see there's no f6 check like in the other line. All right, here we go. Bishop takes bishop. The rook comes down to here. The queen protects his bishop on h4. And now the knight swings up, ready to come to f6. Comes out of here, bishop c4. Now the knight swings into f6, hitting the rook. If this, if he takes there, well, then you lose your queen and white's back in the game, right? Okay? Threatening mate on h7. So it's crazy what could happen, how quick it could go. One bad move, right? But okay, so what happens is the knight comes in. There's no bishop takes knight. What Morphy does is he pushes his pawn right there. And now they give rook to defend. Now if he goes here and he gets the 2, doesn't really matter because then he's going in with the queen here. Right? He takes there and, well, we could capture the knight. We don't have to yet. I mean, I guess this traps the king right inside there. And after this, and, we bring the rook to the open file with it. Look at this. Luckily, the bishop's covering that one. You don't want to blunder into it, but white's got no hope, right? So, rook taking on h7 doesn't work, so he's got to play defensively. Rook trying to stop that pawn from queening. I know I'm getting it all mixed up. I'm tired, folks. It's a long game. All right? So here we go. The queen goes down with a check. Did you see that one? All right, here he goes. He trades. Boom. Get the queens off. King takes back. Here we go. Let's promote this guy. All right, queen, check. All right, he gets rid of him. You get the rook off the board. And then basically, there you go. If he wants to take him, big deal. Well, and now, how is white going to win here? How's white going to win? You attack the bishop, all right, big deal. How's the king going to get around the white king? How's he going to get around? The black king and the bishops will eat up these pawns, and that was the end. The white resigned, and there you have it. Game number 75. A very, very complicated game. Going all the way back, if you remember, with this gambit move. This gambit where the knight comes here. And the e6 pawn in many lines was a bone in the throat, and cramping black's game. And he never got to castle either in this one. That's the tricky thing. Sacrifice of the knight. That's why white was down a piece in many of these lines, remember, with the amount of action that he got. It goes to show you it was a valid sacrifice, because if white followed up correctly, he was still in it. So it's well worth the sacrifice. But this is a tricky one to go over, because usually Morphy's the one who attacks the opponent and they don't get to castle and he takes advantage of them. But here you got Morphy playing like on the other side of the fence now. He didn't castle. He's flirting with danger. He's up the material, but he's trying to, one wrong step and it could blow up on him, because white did get a lot of action for that knight sacrifice. And that pawn, well, then that was the move, right? Bishop takes. We finally got rid of that pawn, and then the whole question was whether the queen's going to win that rook in the corner. This was an amazing move, right? And that wasn't the best. F3 wasn't the best, but there he took the rook, and there you go. And the whole fight, the white queen was trapped at this point, but it was amazing with the amount of tactics that were available to white, with those knight forks and all the beautiful stuff on the sidelines. If you just play through the basic notes, the basic what was played in the game, you miss all those sidelines in the notes. That's the beauty of this, right? So there's another one we covered. It was a tough one. Yeah, Shredder finding rook to c8 at this point. Instead, they played queen to c7. But rook to c8, I think, sealed the deal for black. We had this, right? Finally, we get that queen. And we lose that bishop over there. But we had and even now it's turning into a different thing, unbelievable. So it was a very rich position, a lot to try to figure out. And quite frankly, this is the type of thing, folks. If you go over Morphy's games, you're going to see so many patterns and so many creative ideas. I would assume, depending on what your opponent does, but if he's on the 2000, I pretty much guarantee he hasn't seen the creativity that we're seeing in these games. So you'll be, you'll have the edge in terms of creativity and different patterns and different forms of attack and tactics, So I got to say, even these complicated ones, it's well worth just going over just to see these ideas, They can crop up in your game and you could take advantage of them by all means. But okay, that's gonna wrap this game up. Game 75, folks. Whoa, that was a doozy. So let's keep it going. We got game 76 coming up on Morphy's Games of Chess.